Obviously, Senator, in the interest of time, we're going to jump right in. You seem much more comfortable or less discomfited at this point with being very, very specific about ratcheting up the heat on your feeling that Mr. Lisauskas has much to be accountable for, and you'd like to, frankly, see him gone. You can correct me if you think I've misspoken on that.
No, that's everything that I've heard, read, and seen. Steve Lisauskas should be fired. Simple as that. I took a look at the bank statements from the city, the investment records. Sal Calvanese explained to me what he said happened as a result of the investments with Merrill Lynch, and the reality is that there was a personal deal done with Merrill Lynch by Steve Lisauskas, and then when that deal went bad, he put more money in with Merrill Lynch against the treasurer's advice, against Sal Calvanese's advice, and tried to cover it up. And to me, when you have a cover-up like that, somebody shouldn't stay in the top position in the city.
I think right now there's an issue with you and talking with Sal about a huge transfer that was taken and put into the Merrill Lynch account, upwards of like $55 million.
That's right. That's what happened is that when Merrill Lynch started losing about $2.5 million, and it was obvious, Sal Calvanese tried to take a huge money from the state, local aid payment, and moved that into another account called UBS because he was worried about where Merrill Lynch was going. And after he did that, he notified Steve Lisauskas, and Steve Lisauskas brought him into his office and told him to move the money back to Merrill Lynch. And then 2 days after it, when the bank statements come back out, that account lost $6.3 million. So when the thing was tanking, Steve Lisauskas still wanted to put more money in with Merrill Lynch. That is a highly questionable decision. I think something that just is offensive to the taxpayers.
Are you suspecting that there's something more to a medical leave of absence on the part of Mr. Calvanese than indicated?
I don't know. I did get a chance to speak with Sal Calvanese just recently, and I think that he is really just under the gun here and feeling a lot of pressure. But he's also, to me, it seems to be a stand-up guy who wants to tell the truth, and I think he's going to come out and tell it in his own words pretty soon.
Really?
What leads you to believe that, Senator?
Well, just in conversations with Sal Calvanese, I think he believes that he is the person who's being scapegoated out of this whole deal, and feels that he didn't do anything wrong. He feels that he was the one who tried to move money away from Merrill Lynch. And so he at least has stated to me that he is interested in telling his whole story.
Now, the control board itself, 3 of those members are local members, 2 of them elected officials here in the city of Springfield. What has been the reaction from them on your call to get rid of Steve Lisauskas?
I haven't heard anything. I think they're looking at it internally, and I understand they have to be tight-lipped because this is a personnel decision, and when you have a personnel matter, it has to be done in what's termed executive session, which means that it's in confidentiality. So I don't expect them to immediately respond, but I do hope that the members of the control board take a hard look at those documents and ask those questions, because I can't believe that you would want to keep somebody around when you take a look at those documents and see that more money was put into Merrill Lynch when it was going down the drain.
Are you willing to go the next step above the control board and go right to either the Secretary of A&F or the governor himself?
I am. If it takes that, I will. I do hope, though, that the control board will step in and make a decision on this. And I think the right decision is to let Steve Lisauskas go and start anew with somebody else, because right now I don't think you can have confidence in what the control board's doing with him at the helm.
Do you consider that the examination of the whole office by Tim Plant is a positive thing, or would you like to see someone else spearheading that investigation?
Oh, I think it's a positive thing, but I also think that it has to be a transparent investigation and wide open. And I'd probably prefer to have somebody outside of City Hall doing the investigation, so that it can be as impartial as possible. Because I don't know Tim Plant, and I hope that he'll do a good job. But I would like somebody from the outside, because you have to bring in the other people. And I don't think the control board. This is like a murder investigation where all you do is bring in the murder suspect, ask him questions, and then leave it at that. They haven't brought in anybody else who was involved in the transactions, the chief financial officer at the time, the auditor at the time. They haven't even interviewed Sal Calvany. The only person they've interviewed is Steve Lisauskas, which how can you get to the real bottom of things when the person who's on the hot seat is the only person you're asking questions of?
Has Chris Gabrieli given you any reaction at all?
None.
Has there been any other scrutiny from newspapers or television in the city on this, or is it all being blacked out?
It seems to me pretty blacked out. Or at least the paper is blocking it out, and I think the paper wants to be protective of the control board. It's as simple as that. But the TV's been covering it as well, and I hope with you being interested and with all the TV channels, all three of them have been interested. I think people see it for what it is. I know that this story is being told out there, and it's at the tips of a lot of people's tongues. And even if the paper's not going to cover it, it's still one of the biggest stories out there.
Is the Attorney General, Secretary of State, God forbid the FBI or whoever, also still looking at this?
Yeah.
I think they'll say that they have an open investigation, and that's the only thing that they can say. They can't comment any further.
I got to tell you, Steve, I think it really would be most unfortunate for this city to just once again be sitting back and watching the FBI traipsing in and out of City Hall and everything else and carrying out computers and walking around town in blue slickers to take us back to that whole unsettled period again.
No, I don't think it's needed here. I don't think there's widespread corruption. I think this was simply Steve Lisauskas working a deal with a friend, and then things went bad out of that deal. And it's as simple as that. But that is judgment. That's judgment that should be called on the carpet and asked all the tough questions. And I think it should be let go as a result of how it all went down.